Hi, this is the type of video where I sum up majority of big posts about issues or amusing things on Reddit for Infinity Nikki over the month. I said that I wasn't gonna be doing these videos anymore because the content creators and negative opinions in general on Reddit for Infinity Nikki right now are looked upon in a not a great light, but this helps me still connect with the community. This helps me to base my own opinions into some sort of reality of what other people are thinking about. This is not the only place that I'm looking at. I'm also looking at several Infinity Nikki discords, but in general, if I really like or really dislike something, if I go to a place that has a lot of people that are also expressing their opinions, it helps me gauge whether something is a me thing or whether something is a broader thing. Hence why I still want to do these, at least for the current time. So this is the one for this month. Now, in order to try and avoid abuse, I won't be posting this anywhere outside of my own YouTube channel. If you want, you can share this video, but don't at me, because I don't really want to see the comments that will come with it. And worst case worst, I have previously had to set several of my videos on this channel to all comments held, where I will personally then approve the comments that are, no matter they agree or disagree with me, but are still partaking in the conversation in a respectful manner. And I will just remove any comments that are directly threatening or using a lot of expletives, and I can proceed like that. So if it ends up on my end, it's fine. I can clean it up. I just don't really want to see the chatter that such a video would cause on other platforms, if you get me. Anyway, let's begin. The first thing that I wanted to highlight was a little bit of a mishap on Info's part that I just found a bit funny. For a long while, veiled in white contacts had the Frozen 2 logo in them. And this is the Frozen 2 logo side by side with veiled in white contacts. I just found it amusing because it is probably a genuine mistake on somebody's part. Most likely scenario that this would happen in would be if somebody just like used a stand-in asset. Like this is kind of like what we want to make. This will do for now, and then they accidentally shipped it with the stand-in asset and nobody noticed. Now, they switched to this version, and there's close-ups that people like are posting of it. And I will say that this version is really beautiful and it is animated, and on top of that, for this mistake, Infold did send out, I don't know if it's just the people that had veiled in white contacts or whether it was everybody, but I remember at that point we did receive 10 Apollo polls, apologizing polls for the permanent banner, which honestly, yeah, I'm always gonna take permanent banner polls, and this is like not a big deal for me. It was just a bit of a funny thing that happened from my perspective. I don't think that it is that serious. I don't think that it is that horrible, and I hope that Disney has not sued them over this, because Disney is very, very sue happy. There are some people wondering whether the contacts were AI generated and AI pulled the image, but considering how closely they resemble the actual Frozen 2 logo, I do think that it's not an AI generation. I think somebody used the stand-in asset and then just like forgot about it, which like fair dues. These kind of things do happen. Next up, we have a topic where people just wanted to highlight the positive aspects and improvements that Infold has done. And the main statements that this person left was they really like the gigantification ability, it improves travel so much. I really wish that we could use it with the rest of Wishfield just for running around, because yeah, when you upgrade it to the full, you no longer need to connect energy. You can just run with it, and it is faster than any kind of vehicle that Nikki can ride. Like, it's faster than a bicycle. Sea of Stars is much better with a singular path to collect stars in the tree where people can gather. The anniversary felt very sufficient with all the new content and clothes from the new update. I will also add that they are bringing a lot of the handhelds that people weren't given that came out with 5 stars and 4 stars, as in a lot of handhelds were just like whimsicality abilities that people really didn't like. People wanted a handhold to be a handhold, so that's happening. Reruns are actually happening. Just in this patch, Starlit shop items were actually dyeable. I didn't even know about it. I just purchased the Starlit shop items, and in my video I said, oh, pity that it's not gonna be dyeable, you know, it's kind of a bummer because they never are normally. And these ones, you can actually fully dye and customize them. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, that is interesting. They also added a separate category for tattoos. I don't know where they went, but I think they went into pendants. So now, like, you can wear a tattoo and a different pendant instead of having to spend the pendant slot on tattoos. So there is quite a lot of improvements that are happening to this game. Now, the next post, still in the positive category, is Infinity Nikki won 2025 Weibo ACG Dimension Awards of Most Influential Game of the Year. It is nice to see girly games trending and getting awards in China. It makes me happy because that means that other people might wanna, contribute to the whole genre of games and, well, maybe engage in it, maybe make some more. And that's always, that's always a good thing, even though I don't know anything about Weibo nor the reward category in general, so like I can't provide broader commentary on that. Moving on to less good things. Now we're gonna slip into Gacha Revenue Monthly Report for December of 2025, and that picture was actually too small for me to read, so all I can tab into is this one, which is revenue breakdown. For December, we got $3.4 million estimated. Now, mind you, this is only phone revenues, but it is quite a significant dip. A lot of people are saying that it is because a lot of spending has happened up front in November, as the big 2.0 update has landed in November, and therefore it sucked up all of the revenue. It is kind of worrying for me because we're currently in a very short patch that has a lot of things to purchase, that has a top-up event running, that has a tiered purchase, that is doing a 5-star rerun, that is doing 2 4-star reruns, that is doing 2 regular 4 stars, that is doing a regular 5-star. In other words, there's 22 days in the patch, and there's very little time for you to actually earn any sort of rewards, but there's a lot to spend on. I am worried that if the revenue has dipped, this is what the dip of the revenue is like encouraging them to do. I will see whether or not my worries are answered in 2.2. For all I know, 2.1 was always going to be a very, very short patch, and 2.2 won't be that short. 2.2 will once again have more time to breathe. I am just afraid that Infold feels like they should release shop things and monetization schemes and new banners every single month, or else their revenue does this. And of course, that is a bad thing. So I hope that that's not the case. I hope that we can breathe in between updates, and I hope that they can take the time to deliver proper big updates, and that they can overlook the dips in revenue when the spending goes lower. and still allow their game to just have those dips and have that breathing time instead of feeling like they have to release new purchasables, especially big purchasables like banners, every single month just to like keep that revenue flowing. And top-up events and tiered purchases and all of the extra monetization thing. I don't know if I have, probably not. Probably not, yeah. I'm gonna be releasing, I was gonna say, I don't know if I have already released, because I did record a video talking about the increased monetization, and I don't want to frame things like, oh, this is like bad, get rid of it. So I tried to look from the perspective of they will probably not get rid of it. Chinese people like top-up events. So what could we do to improve those events? And that is how I'm trying to phrase a lot of my videos this month around. Like, what can change? What kind of feedback can I give to make this game better? So there will be a video talking about all of that monetization kerfuffle, and that video will be a standalone video on its own, so I'm not gonna be doing it here. Now let's move on to actual, like, people complaints. A complaint that came up a lot, and I do mean a lot, like I remove duplicate complaints, is forced progression. I somewhat understand that the current event focuses on exploring Itzeland, but why so extensively? I could spend much more time freely progressing through the story, especially the map, than I'm currently forced to, since I have to speedrun the place to gain diamonds. Sure, I could choose not to, but as I'm free to play, it feels like a waste of diamonds. Anyone else? So now 2.0 had an actual quite lengthy amount of time that 2.0 ran for, and that is great, because it was a big drop, especially a big drop over the holidays when people might actually want to spend time with their family rather than sit around and play video games by themselves in their home. Of course, there are different kinds of people. Some people might have decided that that is the way that they want to celebrate their celebrations, and they're completely free to do that and to enjoy their holidays however they want. But what I'm trying to say is that a lot of people probably went and did like family holiday celebration and put the gacha to the side and then came back to the gacha when they had time. Like, we had Christmas, we had New Year's, we had a lot going on in December. So it's great that the length of update was fairly long. But for example, where I encountered this time pressure was the anniversary celebration, like the Nikki's birthday celebration. Last quest requires you to be quite a bit into Itzeland's storyline, and on my secondary streaming account at that point I absolutely wasn't, and it ended before I could do it, so I couldn't really see or show the event to you guys on my streaming account. So I'm kind of a bit iffy at them putting like birthday celebration that doesn't last like the whole patch, but like lasts a short amount of the patch, and that requires you to be quite a bit into the new content. It is quite nicer if they could have just like matched that time period, the whole thing, to like the amount of time that the update was running, so that people can take the time with the story and then, you know, get to that point naturally and then progress their birthday celebration. Or another solution would have been if birthday celebration was just not tied to Itzeland story progression, and we could just like celebrate our birthday in Wishfield and then progress with Itzeland. Like, that would have been a perfectly fine solution in my opinion as well. Now, mind you, there's probably like 20 hours of story, so it's not like a huge deal. You probably can do the birthday celebration like 5 hours in, but still, it was the holidays. People didn't really want to rush 5 hours of game time, probably. Because this complaint, it wasn't a rare complaint. I did deliver some feedback myself. I suggested that all of these things that encourage exploration, they should be front loading onto like the start of the story or of the new map, or if you do it with things that you can do without doing a lot of gameplay. So for example, collect all the waypoints, like the teleportation points, you know, those like pink things on the map. You can practically run around on the whole map without doing the story at all. You can just like go. So those ones are kind of fine and like kind of what I mean. Like you can do that whenever. You're not like tied to doing 5 hours of story to get there. But there was quite a lot of those kind of things of like complete this or like complete that or like complete this. And some people, they didn't have time. They want to take time with such things and they don't want to like lose out on rewards. So just for the future note, for big patches, it would be nice if the things that get you diamond rewards from events and such could more lean on things that you can do without having to do hours and hours and hours of gameplay inside the new area, rather than things that you kind of have to do hours and hours and hours of gameplay in the new area, because I think that's just gonna battle the FOMO a little bit, like the fear of missing out. Mind you, people go, well, how are you gonna incentivize people to do the full story? The full story gives diamonds and pulls, and you find diamonds running through the world, and of course you're also doing story for story's sake. So I think finishing the story incentivizes itself without the game needing to put extra diamond incentives. And I think that it is something that people are gonna do regardless. And also, I think that if you're not incentivizing people to rush when there's a down patch where the patch is a lot emptier, your people will still be busy doing something instead of just going, well, I finished the patch and I'm bored now. Because here's the thing, guys, like, this is a 22-day patch. I am recording this on a Saturday. I am gonna be releasing this video probably on a Wednesday for you guys, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday. Like I want to get some things out on like the first week after recording. Please, me, don't hit the microphone. So as of Saturday, I have successfully collected all of the rewards to do with raising the behemoth. And I don't really want to raise another behemoth. It took me 5 behemoths. I could have done it even faster, but I finished it today because I didn't super want to engage with it, honestly. And I have already done all the side quests, and I will be just happily logging in to do my dailies and then logging off. To me, this is not bothersome because I tend to always have something happening on the side and some sort of goal that I'm pursuing. Sometimes it's my own education, sometimes it is book reading, sometimes it is a project that I really want to finish, sometimes it is a game on the side. There's always like something that I want to do in my life, and there's never enough time. So I'm like, okay, I am done. This is like Infinity Nikki downtime now. I won't be like touching Infinity Nikki for more than like 10 days to do 10 days, 10 minutes a day to do my dailies. And then I will be like done. And I'm good with that. But for some people, this is like their main mode of relaxation. And for those people, they tend to play a specific amount of time a day. They don't binge play. I effectively binge play. These people don't. So what I'm getting at is that most people will probably run out of content for the raising the behemoth thing, because there really isn't a lot of content and the patch is short to match, but they will probably run out of this. And if the story content reward structure didn't incentivize you to binge play during 2.0, they would probably still have a lot of quests and story points to get to that they could be doing right now. You wouldn't see like a drop in logins if you just allowed people to consume the big amount of content over a larger period of time, is what I'm trying to say. Next! Duplicate pre-registration rewards have been removed from accounts who claim them. A few days ago, some players received duplicate in-game email with rewards from pre-registration milestones, including 10 blue crystals. The duplicate rewards have been removed from accounts who claimed them, so if you did, check your balance to make sure you're not in the negative. Now, it should be very obvious to everyone that pre-registration rewards come out when the game releases. If you're getting it again a year later, it's probably a mistake and you probably shouldn't claim it. But here's the thing. A lot of people will go into their mail and they will click claim without even looking like what they're claiming. So a lot of people probably claimed these and they didn't know that it was a mistake. And then they used the pulse and now they're at minus 10 pulse and they probably feel that it is very unfair. They probably are afraid that their account might get shut down because these was like blue crystals. This was like, once again, permanent banner polls that they accidentally sent out to some accounts the second time around. They're gonna be afraid that their account will be shut down because they are in the minus. There's a lot of grief that's caused by such situations. So I understand why the situation was addressed, but the situation wasn't addressed as nicely as it could have been addressed, which is when such mistakes happen, especially when it is just the regular permanent banner pulse, you may as well just send out an extra email for all of the people that didn't have the accidental email sent out. Or you can minus the accounts and then send everybody an extra 10 permanent banner pulls going, hey, if your balance went into minus, we're highly apologizing. We are just correcting an error on our part. Here is 10 pulls to bring your account balance back to 0. If you have never received the mistaken email, then rejoice. This is just the pulls for you to use however you want and to even out your account with all other accounts. I think such solutions tend to be a lot kinder on everybody and therefore make people happy rather than make people stressed. Stressed people not good. Happy people are good. And when all you're sending is permanent banner pulls, it really shouldn't bite your wallet that hard. So I think that this situation has been handled in the wrong way rather than the right way. And I think that these kind of situations can be handled a lot better than this, is what I'm trying to get at. Now, we go to the current banner. This is not the only problem with the current banner, by the way, guys. To point out extra problems with the current banner, you see the angle that the hair is at? It's like that. The hair is like crunchy, like it has been using way too much hair setting spray or something, because it always stays at that angle instead of like morphing to whatever clothes that you're wearing, which means that this hair is not very usable. And her wings, which I personally thought were just pieces of fabric because they don't like animate. People say that they sorta do, they like move very, very tinily, but for me that doesn't really separate wings from fabric. Like, this isn't giving me wings, this is giving me fabric. They're also at a permanent angle, just something to keep in mind. If you want to use this banner dress with like other things in your closet, rather than just like the exact appearance that these items came with. But getting to the point of the poster, 6 out of 10 pieces of Forest Ripple have a special effect, means you can't dye them fully without the final evolution. AKA, it's especially visible on the socks, like see those little like flowers inside the sock? That part is not dyeable, and they're like really bright and really, really glowy. So you can change like the outer part from blue to red or to white or to whatever. It will be just like a tiny bit of a sheen, while the real special effect is like inside her foot. And that's just, you can't change it unless you have the final evolution. The feedback being delivered here is that Infold, please allow everybody to dye every piece of the dress that they do own, and if the special effects are to be not dyeable, put them inside the place where they are dyeable, aka with the final evolution. Another quite common ask is that when you get the final evolution, you should retroactively be able to apply aspects of it to previous outfits. So, for example, the alternative version of the dress, you should be able to apply it to every version of the dress, not just the final evolution bit, and obviously effects too. Like, it will be great if when you unlock the effects, which is at the final evolution, they are dyeable at that point, and then you could retroactively apply them to other versions of the dress if you want to. That is what I'm trying to get at. Now, a lot of people pulled this outfit and it had such problems as these, and they were disappointed and they posted about it. And then there was quite a lot of kerfuffle of other people saying that people that post about such things are trying to generate fake outrage. It's one of the reasons why I'm not gonna be posting this video, and where I'm anticipating having to switch off the comments on this if I need to. So once again, you guys can share what I say in however form you want. You can do a write-up, you can actually just take this video and share it somewhere, you can take pictures, you can share everything that I say in a pleasant matter or a non-pleasant matter. Like, if you guys want to say oh, look at this person generating fake outrage, that's whatever, just please don't at me when you do that, because I don't want to deal with all the hate. And it is quite saddening to me that our community is currently at a point where somebody can just genuinely come in and say, hey, I'm having pull regret because these are the issues that I noticed with the new 5-star, and it's making me upset because it's my hard-earned pulls. And then you will have parts of the community come out and go, generating fake outrage! At the very least, if you do it to me, I'm like a YouTuber that's reading Reddit posts. I'm not the person that actually pulled this. So, what I'm saying, when you're doing this to people that actually pulled something and that they're regretting it, think of it this way, man. It's either hard-earned, hard-saved currency, or it is $200 worth of an investment. So either they invested a lot of time to save up the currency, which is not easy to get again, or they spent a lot of their own hard-earned money in order to get this outfit, and then this outfit has parts of it that upset them, and then they go and express they're upset to the rest of the community, and then they get shouted down. That experience, it must be kind of soul-crushing. You're already upset, and then other people on the internet come out to upset you further. I so don't stand for that. So anyway, to give some very nice constructive feedback in here, obviously Infold is not going to be listening to this, but hey, if we all put it in our surveys, maybe they will. First of all, please don't do crunchy hair at an angle. If you need to do hair that cannot contort to the outfit that you're wearing, and the outfit is as poofy as this kind of outfit, it is okay to do hair that doesn't go past the shoulders or much past the lower back, because if you cut it off, if you cut her haircut off in here, there would be absolutely no need to contort the rest of the hair into a permanent angle, because when the hair is contorted into a permanent angle, it's very hard for people to mix and match pieces in a dress-up game, and that is fairly important. Secondly, please don't do that with wings either. If you need to cut them shorter a little bit so that they don't clip into the ground, that is okay. Just try and keep that angle as neutral as possible. Try to think about the amount of clothes that you would want for people to be able to put this item with. In general, the more clothes, the better. We have outerwear that does this magical thing that doesn't do in a lot of other games, where our outerwear, majority of our outerwear actually contorts to bigger dresses. So even though it looks funny, like the whole like jacket just kind of goes poof with the poofy dresses, and that is amazing because that is a lot of physics and it is actually quite hard to do, but that's what makes outerwear so versatile. So when you're offering a piece that is worn separately from the dress, ideally it should be as versatile as possible because people are playing a dress-up game and they would like to, mix and match things. And then, obviously, it's in the best interest for the consumer that every part of the outfit that they buy, they can actually dye. Now, you might say that them being unable to dye the effects will encourage them to get the final evolution, but what it's likely gonna lead to is disappointed people that will no longer pull on outfits that do this kind of thing in the future because they got burned once, or will wait to save up enough to get the final evolution when they are preparing to pull for an outfit. So instead of getting more money from it, you will just get less people pulling because they will be like, if I just get the base outfit, I will screw myself because it will come with all these special effect pieces that I won't be able to dye. So in the best interest of everybody, please don't do that. Like, allow people to dye everything that they have and then just give the, special evolution something extra so that the special evolution people feel special. If you need to, move some of the effects from one to the other, that is fine. Just allow people to dye what they have, is what I'm trying to say. Moving on. A lot of the complaints, I'm not going to read the full post, but a lot of the complaints are still to do with housing. Please either increase the load limit for our home islands or decrease the loads of heavier furniture pieces. This is a great write-up. All of these things are linked in the description down below of this video, so you can go and read it for yourself. Housing complaints come up again and again and again, and I 100% am with this person. I myself have built my house when the housing came out, and then I stopped decorating whatsoever because I'm not that far off the full load limit as well, so the amount of decoration that I can do is pretty minimal, which means that I am just not engaging with the housing system whatsoever. And when they're putting out a lot of big flashy decor items for the ice skating ring, for example, that you can place in your house, but it takes 30,000 load when the load is only 500,000 in total. It's great. It's a great, beautiful item, but you just can't use it. And therefore, even if you wanted to, you can't really buy it. Now, fortunately, Info did say that they're gonna be decreasing the amount of load that every single item is gonna take. And that's coming in a couple of months, probably. In 2 or 3 updates, or was it 2.3 that they said, or in 3 updates? I don't remember, nor when they said it, but I do remember that there was a promise that they're gonna reduce the amount of loads that every single item in the housing takes. And I am personally looking forward to this because it means that I will be able to engage with housing again. And I think a lot of people are feeling this way. It is completely pointless selling a lot of new furniture that takes up a lot of load if people are not going to be buying it because they don't have the load available on their islands to actually use it. So, good on them that they acknowledge the issue and that they are going to be implementing a fix for it. I'm very happy to see that, but I'm just saying that this is repeated community feedback that is happening. Second, repeated community feedback that is happening is AI translations make this game unplayable. This is this time a German player that says that they can't even understand the buttons in the mini games anymore because they're just not using the proper words. Therefore, they click around guessing what is what until they see what it does, and that's how they play, which is a horrible way to play. As like a Lithuanian, that is how I played games in English when I was a kid. But here's the thing, when you're clicking around in an English game and your secondary language subject in school from second grade is also English, it almost becomes like a secondary form of education. Like you're engaging with the language inside your school and back at home. When you're playing it in your native language, but it's badly translated AI poo poo, you're not learning anything meaningful. You're just trying to figure out what the game is trying to tell you. So it's pretty bad. It is pretty bad, and it is repeated feedback that pops up again and again and again and again. So personally, I can't wait for AI bubble to burst, but also my repeated feedback again and again and again and again is this is not a place where you can skimp out. You need a human translator to, at the very least, if it's cheaper for you, run everything through an AI translation, but then have a human look over the text and change things where they don't make sense. That way, you're sort of reducing the workload for the human because some things will probably be completely correct and fine, but also you're gonna have that human touch that regulates your gaming experience and makes sure that the native speakers can understand what you're trying to put out in the game. It is repeated feedback. It is, I'm so sorry. It's just not a place in the game where you can skimp out on money. You need that human touch. You can't replace translators with just bots. It doesn't work. And repeated feedback on forums that it doesn't work over and over and over again kind of proves that it just doesn't work. So for as long as they're gonna continue doing this, I'm gonna continue writing in my surveys, get rid of AI translations, please. At least have a human oversee the AI translation, as in get the translated text together with the original text and like do a comparison and say, that bit, nobody will understand that. We changed that word. That would be glorious. It would be great. There we go. That is the majority of important feedback that we have gotten over the past month when it comes to the larger Infinity Nikki audience playing on Infinity Nikki Reddit and sharing on Infinity Nikki Reddit when it comes to do with the game. There was also one post that I didn't include because it's a lot of people were like fighting in the comments, but I will say this. Another repeated piece of feedback is that people want very curly hair. As in like 4C girls, as in like Afro girls. And a lot of people feel like they can't make themselves when the game has no haircuts of such type. But all of the comments in there have devolved into a huge battle. There were people saying that because of the reception of items to do with Indian Americans, Indians, I suppose, Infold might have gotten scared and are unlikely to do such a thing, and that community can only blame themselves. They brought up the Space Buns incident from Animal Crossing, where one person wore really tight curls on their character, and they didn't understand that it was supposed to be a curly haircut, and they called them Space Buns, and they said, wow, what a nice appearance. And you had like a whole race war just like breaking out saying, you're of the wrong race to be wearing this, like how can you be so ignorant, yada 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 yada. So there was like a lot of not nice things just brought up in the comments, and it was like a big back and forth flame war, and there was a lot of very defeatist attitudes. So let me just say it like this. you have the right to request really curly hair that matches your own hair texture. Nothing wrong with that. And everything that has happened in gaming before shouldn't influence whether or not we can get really curly hair inside Infinity Nikki. So I'm not gonna link that post because comment section is a bit weird, but just so you know, that is also a repeated feedback that we're really lacking very, very curly hairstyles, and that is true. That is absolutely true. So anyway, what are your most pressing issues, concerns? What do you think about these ones? Once again, we're gonna share between each other in a friendly way. Yeah. And we're gonna be nice to each other. Yeah. And we're just gonna discuss what we're putting into our surveys. Right, guys? Right? Right. Okay. Okay. Please keep the comment section clean. If you want to be like really unclean, like go and do that somewhere else and I don't know, yell expletives at the air or something. I don't know why people on the internet are this way now, but apparently it's everywhere. So I'm now operating in a way that keeps this place as peaceful as possible. But anyway, I know that you're not that kind of person, because the kind of people that watch me in general are not the kind of people. The people that come in out of nowhere tend to be that kind of people. And that is when I have to take moderation into consideration and take it pretty seriously. But that's neither there nor here. What would be your most pressing issues with Infinity Nikki? What do you think about the current patch? How are you feeling about the game in general? Express your opinions about everything, this video included. If you think that this video shouldn't exist, you know what, fine. Express that opinion too. Just be polite about it. I already expressed my reasons for doing it, and I personally would like to continue doing it if everybody's fine with that. If there's a lot of abuse happening, I'd rather make videos that don't make me suffer from that abuse, because that's how, like, human brain works, right? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for my Patreon supporters. Thank you for lasting so long. It's a 42-minute video, and I hope I'm gonna see you on my other videos. Toodaloo.